Packers defensive tackle Kenny Clark joins the show to talk about his offseason work, how Joe Barry changed this defense with freedom, and what it was like to be there that first day when Aaron Rodgers came to camp.
You are Locked On Packers, your daily Green Bay Packers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Packers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Peter Bukowski. I cover the Packers for The Leap, a newsletter I would love for you to subscribe to. You can follow me on Twitter, Peter_Bukowski. Follow the podcast on Twitter at Locked On Packers. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to the podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find podcasts. You will find Locked On Packers, the number one Packers podcast on the internet, and the show for fans who know what happened. They want to know why and how. Thanks to everyone who makes Locked On Packers their first listen every day. Today's first listen, if you're listening to us whenever, but if you're listening to us first, it's going to be even better because Kenny Clark is on the show today. And I'm not going to waste time with a long, lengthy intro. Kenny Clark is here. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of different things. Packers offseason, what it's like to be back, the vibes after a difficult loss, what it was like when Aaron Rodgers came back, how he became friends with MVS, who he became Twitter rivals with almost immediately. A lot of great stuff on the show today. Joining me now, defensive tackle for the Green Bay Packers, Kenny Clark, who is back in Green Bay now that offseason workouts are back in the fold. Kenny, have you had to shovel since you've been back?
No, I haven't had to shovel, but it was definitely cold the first 2 days we got here, and it was snowing. So it was just how we left off from that playoff game. It was still snowing out here.
Yeah. So I want to talk about that. So the game happens against San Francisco, and we don't have to go into the details of it. It didn't end the way that you wanted it to end. What is your process for saying, okay, season's over. Now I need to do this in the offseason, whether it's I got to work, I need rest. Like, what is your timeline? What is next? You leave the building and then you're doing what?
So I usually start like working out and stuff right after the Super Bowl. And I think like that's been working out for me really well. And really just if I got hurt or if I got injured or if I had like any nagging injuries, I try to find out different ways where I can help my body and see a way that I won't have those injuries again. I know like my groin was like a huge problem these last like 2 years.
Right.
I had tore like both. So like both of my groins, I've been working like tirelessly on those and trying to strengthen those and so that doesn't happen again. And my elbow and all that kind of stuff, just trying to keep things like moving and keep things fresh, and just working out the nicks and knacks that might have slowed me down a little bit during camp or during the season a little bit, and get that stuff figured out, and so I can be healthy for the rest of the year or going into the next year.
So Joe Barry comes in a year ago and there's some changes that are made. It's not wholesale changes to the defense. It's not like you're reinventing the wheel here, but I was talking to your trainer about a year ago when you guys started doing some different things on trying to alter, they were going to ask you to play more 3-tech. What changed for you in this defense in terms of what your responsibilities were and how you had to train to account for that?
So like everybody loves to say like freedom and stuff like that. I wouldn't say I have more like freedom. Like we all play like a certain way, but I think I got more like I was asked more to play those roles, and Jerry, my defensive line coach, Joe B, they encouraged me to, like, they encourage all of us, like, if we in a position and, you know, you got guys like Tyler Lancaster at the time and, you know, with Dean in there, TJ, TJ, is primarily like a nose tackle. Tyler's primarily like a nose tackle that can also play the 3 really well. And then Dean could play the 3 and the 5. So depending on who I was in there with and depending on the situation, I was just able to like pick my spots more. So I would say like that's where like that freedom came. Like I just felt comfortable enough to like pick my spots more and move around the defense wherever I wanted to go. Or if I felt like, I had a better matchup over here or over there, I was able to exploit that. And, Joe B and Jerry like encouraged me to do that if I felt that way.
What changed about your actual responsibilities in a Mike Pettin defense versus a Joe Barry defense? If you look at, say, the Brandon Staley, this Vic Fangio scheme that's become very trendy in the league, they talk about, playing a gap and a half and trying to steal gaps and stuff like that. And so what for you from a technique standpoint did you have to change about the way that you were playing, if anything?
So as far as like techniques, see, like I had coming in my rookie year, I had Coach Turgo, and Jerry was my assistant defensive line coach. And then after that, I had Jerry all throughout all my years. So my technique, my defense line technique didn't change as much. I had like this is my 3rd defensive coordinator now.
Right.
So yeah, like Coach Pettin played like lighter boxes. So we would play a lot of bear, all that kind of stuff. We played a lot of bear, and I was successful at that. Just being lined up over the center all the time. That was really good for me. And we'd do that kind of stuff. But I just think like Joe B just had like, I don't know, I just feel like we all have like a different understanding of, like a better understanding of, the run fits, like the technique, like that we're supposed to play. Like when we're supposed to be aggressive. Like it's times where, we can just blow plays up and just cut it loose, and not play like in a total like structure of the defense, like, and play, what I'm saying? Like not play like the total technique and, fit up your gap and, play your A gap. Like it's times where we can just wreck shop in there, like I would say. And I think like Joe B allows you to do that more. And then on top of that, you got guys like Devondre Campbell, and then you got Chris Barnes, Adrian Amos, and Savage. They all communicate well, and they communicate well, and they're able to play the run really well and fit gaps and all that kind of stuff. So when you got guys like Rashawn and Preston setting edges, and then you got those 4 guys in the back, filling in gaps for us. And everybody has a clean understanding of what's going on. Like, it makes things easier, and it allows like the defensive line to play more aggressive. So I think like that's how I added on top of that with what I said earlier about like me being able to pick my spots. Another part of being able to pick my spots is like knowing when to cut it loose and to be aggressive and to just say, like, I don't care about my technique this play. I'm about to blow this play up and make them cut back and all that kind of stuff,
I was really interested. Devondre Campbell said something the other day about when he first came to Green Bay, and he trusted the coaches in their conversations. And he said, basically don't pigeonhole me. Let me do the things that I'm good at, and I'll reward you. And he was an all-pro last year. He was awesome last season. He got to do things that Mike linebackers don't normally get to do. He's playing in the slot and just being able to have that freedom as a player. What does it mean when you have a coaching staff that says, we're going to put you in the best positions to succeed, and damn convention, we're just going to figure out what you guys do and ask you to do those things rather than say, we run this 3-4 fire zone and that's what we're doing?
Yeah, that's the best way. That's the best coaches. That's the best way to coach. Like, we just got Jay Reed, and um, our coach, like Jerry, is like, we gonna maybe we gonna make you a better player. We're gonna play your techniques, but we love your style of play and what you do, and we're not gonna change that. And when you got coaches that don't have egos, and players that's willing to listen, and willing to play hard, and do all that kind of stuff. And when you add that all together, and coach is not like, oh, you just gonna do it my way, and that's it. That's when a player can actually respect the coach, and appreciate that coach, and really want to play hard for that guy. And I think like all of our coaches are like that. And on the defensive side of the ball, like if we don't like something, or we want to start doing more like coverages, or more bare fronts, or we feel like a guy is like we can exploit a mismatch against a guy that we feel like during the week, like Joe B encourages us to do that. And that's the cool thing about Joe B. He doesn't have an ego. He wants everybody to be happy. He wants everybody to be flying around at the end of the day and playing fast. And all the position coaches are like that too. They find little things in the game, whether it's formations, whether it's certain motions that we get in the game. If a player is in the slot, or if a running back is, certain things throughout the week and throughout the game that players will be lined up at, and they find those little situations, and they be like, okay, you guys can cut it loose here, and and when we cut it loose, like we hard to deal with. So I think like just this whole year is just everybody's like, we didn't hear like not one thing bad about the defense, or play calling, or
Yeah.
uh
How far the corners were playing off the line of
was
scrimmage.
like, yeah like all that kind of stuff. Like everybody was pretty much like, everybody was happy. It felt good. And we're not perfect. We still got a lot of things to work out as a defense, and still got to get the run game cleaned up and all that kind of stuff. But definitely, like guys were flying around, and I haven't played with a defense like that in a long time. So like it was great to be a part of that.
More from Kenny Clark in just a second. Before we get there, today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. All the things that you need, odds, props, information to make your bets, you can find it at BetOnline. It is the place where you can go for baseball, basketball, hockey, golf, and Las Vegas casino games. Whatever you need, whatever you want, you can find it there. They have a prop for just about everything. Plenty of NFL draft props right now, which is a lot of fun. I'm having so much fun looking at these props, trying to figure them out, doing research, and using them to try and figure out who the Packers are going to pick. And if you have leans on that, BetOnline is the best place to do it. Head to the website or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and the action. BetOnline, where the game starts. And thanks for making Locked On Packers your first listen every day. The NFL Draft is here, and fans are dying to know who their team is going to take. Locked On and Odyssey present the Ultimate NFL Mock Draft 2022. It's the biggest mock draft on the planet, featuring 70 Locked On local experts like me and Odyssey NFL insiders, including Michael Irvin and Jason La Canfora, over 6 episodes. The Ultimate Mock Draft is available now on the Locked On NFL podcast on Odyssey, wherever you get podcasts. All right, back to Kenny. The speed of the team definitely seemed like it was different, especially with 59 out there patrolling the middle of the field. I'm wondering, does it make it easier? Freedom doesn't mean free from criticism, right? Like if you screw up, they're still going to say, hey, this was a mistake. Does it, when you have the freedom and that trust of that two-way street, does it make it easier to be coached then, or for them to even coach you harder because there's that respect and trust?
Yeah, I trust you to cut it loose, but still play in the structure of the defense. And, you know, everybody knows what that means. Like, as a defensive lineman, like, yeah, I can blow a play up and knock a guy back, but like, if I'm not playing with my hands and you know, playing a gap and a half, staying in my gap and being able to stay square, you know, I'm doing a defense a disservice. So yeah, like, coaches want us to play fast and cut it loose, but also they want us to not do it to where, like, we hurting the defense, like we just taking one gap and just running upfield. Yeah, it looks pretty. You knock the guy back 10 yards or whatever, but you know, the running back cut back and cut in your gap, and now you got gas for 4 yards, 5 yards. So, you know, it's give and take with everything, you know, but like, you know, that's the coach's job, you know, is to you know, let guys know when to cut it loose. And those situations come up probably out of 60 snaps, probably, and I'm talking about, like, as far as like every position group, probably like 3-4 times a game. But those 3-4 times a game, you know, can be big splash plays, game-changing plays, you know, or whatever. So, like, every position group really get those plays, and our coaches do a good job at, like, you know, watching the tape during the week, getting us locked in on those keys, and allowing us to, like, letting us know when we need to cut it loose on certain plays or certain formations or whatever we see.
What do you think helped guys like Devondre Campbell and Rasul Douglas come in and not just be great, because they were both great last season, but be great right away? I mean, Rasul Douglas out there making the game-winning interception against the Cardinals. He's been on the team for what, a month? Like, and Devondre Campbell, week 1, week 2 is looking like this different player. What is it about those guys, about this locker room, this coaching staff, whatever it is? What do you think helped them be productive in this defense right away?
Man, honestly, I think our team is just so connected. And I'm talking about from, you know, the coaches all the way down to the players. Like, we genuinely like, you know, being around each other. We love being in the building. We have fun when we in the building. And when guys come from other teams, like, you always hear, like, man, we didn't even hang out with our teammates. You know, we didn't even do such and such, you know, and, you know, when they come with us, it's like, man, it feels like this is awesome. Like, I never did this when I was here or there, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, God, like, it just like that connection that you have with your teammates, like, I don't know, it's like a football thing, or I don't know. Like, it's hard to explain, but yeah. It's like when you got a connection, you just want to play like that much harder. You just want to do your job that much harder for that guy. You don't want to be wrong, you know, for that guy. A lot of guys in our locker room are prideful. Our coaches are prideful. You know, they don't want to, you know, nobody wants to, you know, let each other down. So, yeah, man, like, everybody's just genuinely happy for each other, you know, with the success. Whether it's success, if somebody's, you know, having a bad game or doing something, we always picking each other up. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, we win or lose, we always, like, having fun, you know, as a team, as a defense, you know, at practice, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's what, like, the difference is with our team and with guys that come in, is just how connected we are. And, you know, you got guys like myself, Rashawn, and Amos, and you know, Preston, like, all the vets on our team. You know, we all take our job seriously, and when you come to our team, like, you understand that real quick. You know, you got our best players on our defense, our best players on our team are all, you know, hard workers. Like, we not just talking the talk. You know, we walking the walk, and, you know, guys are actually, you know, putting in the time to study and all that kind of stuff. So when you got good guys in your locker room that's doing that, and you got good guys in your locker room, when guys come from other teams, or, you know, these rookies that's going to come in and all that kind of stuff, when they see that, they see, you know, Rashawn Gary studying and doing the best he can to make, you know, plays on Sunday, you know, it's going to make just the locker room better. It's going to make everybody better. And I think that's the standard that, you know, that that's coming together for for our team, and and we're like constantly building that as a team.
Yeah, Devondre Campbell mentioned the standard. You hear Matt LaFleur, every press availability, he talks about the standard. And he's like, the standard is the standard. We don't change the standard for who is out there. The standard is the standard. And I think that's a great way to approach it. How do you, so you've been back now for a couple days. We got to do a vibes check, Kenny. What's the vibe in the locker room? I mean, it would be easy for there to be a hangover effect. Now this is 3 straight seasons for those of you who have been there long enough. With the season ending not the way that you guys want it to. So how do you come back refreshed, energized to go, let's do this, but also say it's a long season, all that kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, the vibes, first off, it's great vibes. We having fun. It's so exciting to just see everybody, back in the building and, get a chance to talk to everybody, go out to eat, and all that kind of stuff. So the vibes are awesome. And then I always, I said this, at the end of the 49er game, I mean, if you're a competitor, and it shouldn't, each year, whether you lose in the playoffs, you win a Super Bowl, it honestly, it don't matter, going into that next year. You know what I'm saying? I never believed in when they talk about guys that win a Super Bowl and they have a Super Bowl, that hangover thing, or they lose a Super Bowl or they lose in the playoffs. I never believed in that. If you're a competitor, if you love to compete, every Sunday, every chance you get, you're gonna compete to the best of your ability. Every day is a new day. Every week is a new week. And Coach LaFleur preaches that all the time. You know what I'm saying? We take each step of this process, a day at a time. But I always been like that. Whether it was a successful year, a bad year, every day is a new day. And I'm a competitor. When I'm out there on Sunday, I'm not worried about last year losing to the 49ers. I'm worried about whooping whoever in front of me. So I'm gonna compete.
I need to know, it seems on the outside, and maybe it's just because physically you look so different. How did the friendship with Marquez Valdes-Scantling come about? Because you guys have this Twitter rivalry. You seem to be like real cool friends. How did that start?
Yeah, me and Quez really good friends. Coach switched up the locker rooms for some reason. I mean, the lockers, for some reason, we used to have the receivers on one side, quarterbacks on their side, defensive linemen, every position group had their own little side of the locker room. And I think it was Coach's second year. It might have been when he first got here, but Coach LaFleur just put randomly just put everybody wherever. And then I honestly, I never really Quez had been there for, at that time, I think Quez had been in Green Bay for probably 3 years. Of course I talked to Quez, he's my teammate, but we didn't really, it's always, he's on offense, I'm on defense. We got different meeting times and all that kind of stuff. Never really talked to him like that. And, we all got paired together on my side of the locker room. And, just being next to him, just chopping it up with him, talking to him, and then, start cracking jokes and all that kind of stuff. And then, kind of got a little tight, close over that. And, that's just how we, got cool. But, Coach had just, mixed up the lockers one day. And, that helped our team too. Cause like I said, me and Aaron Jones won't see each other the whole day. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
we he has his meeting rooms on the other side of the room. I have mine, and then we go to practice. We practicing after everybody want to just go home and go get to their families. So the offensive guys, especially during camp and all that kind of stuff, you really don't get a chance to really talk to them like that, So yeah, and you're around the defensive guys all the time, so y'all talk all day. So I think that was a good job, like, and Coach first seeing that, and that's another thing about our team, being connected. You build, relationships and friendships off of that. But and it just makes us a stronger team.
All right, before we finish up with Kenny Clark on today's show, we are sponsored, as often, by Built Bar. Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar ever made. It's the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. The Built Puffs, if you haven't tried them, get thee to a computer or a phone. And I get the text alerts to let me know, hey, this flavor is back in stock, or this flavor has come out, because they're delicious. And every flavor, every new flavor seems to one up the last. It is remarkable what Built Bar has been able to do to make them taste so delicious and still hit all their macro goals. High in protein, high in fiber, low in net carbs, low in calorie, low in sugar. It's a miracle of modern science, and they have pulled it off. Don't believe me? I'll give you a discount just to try it. Go to Built.com and use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. And thanks for making Locked On Packers your first listen every day. Now go make your second listen Locked On NFL Draft. Ryan Tracy and former NFL cornerback Eric Crocker bring the NFL Draft to life every day with insight and analysis on college football prospects and NFL front offices. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts.
I want to ask two questions here as we finish up. Jordan Love is someone who I feel like anytime he gets out there, he's under a ton of scrutiny. Anytime he's practicing, all eyes are on Jordan Love. And it's hard, I think, to understand from an outsider's perspective how he's progressing, what he's doing, and what is being seen behind the scenes. What have you seen from him, personality-wise, player-wise, that you've seen change since he got here back in 2020?
So, man, with Jordan is just the guy. Like he works hard. He works hard. From when he first got here, and I always look at when guys first get here, I compare it to myself, because when I first got here, I don't think nobody was I remember always hearing this is our first round pick, and I wasn't playing like that at first. I didn't play much until I got to the playoffs. So I don't really put all that energy into guys' first game or guys'
Right.
first couple, because I know how it was for me. I couldn't believe I stepped into practice. I got Corey Linsley reaching me. I couldn't believe how fast the centers was in the league. So I didn't get it. So I can only imagine what it's like being a quarterback. So Jordan, though, man, he's an extremely hard worker. He's starting to I wouldn't say he's the leader of our team, because of course Aaron's the leader of our team. But he's starting to talk a lot more to the guys, getting more comfortable. You can just tell, as he grows, as the years go by, just seeing him communicate with the guys and all that kind of stuff. It's you can see him, just growing into his role. And and that's what you want to see. You want to just see a guy that's hungry, that's continuing to progress. And got a lot of respect for him about just how he's just handling everything that's going on, because I know it's a lot, but he's definitely putting in all the work and doing the best he can, so when his number is called, he's ready to go.
Last thing, that day in July last summer when QB1 finally walks through the door, we have a perception of what that was like from the outside. I have a perception of what it was like to listen to him in a press conference setting, but just on the field, players and coaches. What was it like just that day from your perspective of just you knew this was going to be this spectacle, but what is it like in the locker room, on the practice field? Is anything different?
No, honestly, like it's so crazy. Like
We want it to be different, Kenny. We want it to be so different. We want to hear that there's so much
like,
tea to spill. We want all that.
Yeah, everybody has this like I don't know where everybody get their like information and all that stuff from, because like we'll be sitting at lunch or something, and everybody's just watching it. It's just like none of us feel this way. Like everybody, like nobody feels this way. Like everybody, like I honestly I didn't have no doubt, about anything, but like, you want the best, for your teammates. You want the best for guys, and like at the end of the day, as players in the locker room, you understand the business side of it, or if you don't, you like everybody comes to that. It gets to that point where, the business side of football, happens, and sometimes, your best players, it's going to be some of your best players that end up leaving, and some of them stay, or whatever it may be. But like, it's never no like hard feelings about like anything, like when A-Rod first came in into the locker room, I promise you, it wasn't like no, like, oh, he's back. It wasn't no like nothing. Like it was just like it's the next day. You back? What's up, bro? How you doing? Let's get back to work. It wasn't like I don't know. I just feel like everybody just like make it like we as players are thinking like, man, like A-Rod is doing this and doing that, and we feel a certain way about it. When I promise you, majority of us don't even, well, all of us really don't even like care. Honestly, it's like it's the business side of football. We understand how it go, and whoever is out there when we get out there on Sunday, that's who we rolling with, and we gonna play ball and do the best we can to get a dub. Of course, you want your best players out there. You want you want your best players out there. But at the end of the day, like I said, like as a competitor, like your job is to compete. We in the NFL, and you gotta understand, this business. Like even with myself, like it's a business. Like I can't get salty about money and all that kind of stuff. I gotta stay locked in on my job, on what I'm supposed to do, and when that time comes, I'm talking like before I had got paid, but when that time, I get paid, and and I handle my business that way on the business side of everything. But as far as like A-Rod's situation, like it was literally like he came back into the locker room. Everybody was like, "Oh, what's up, bro? How you doing? Let's get back to work." It's nothing going on. Like
no cheers, no. Yeah. Oh my God, look who it is. Were you on the group text though, Kenny? No, don't answer that. Don't tell me. But this was great. Thank you so much for offering some insight. I appreciate it. And Packer fans cannot wait for you guys to get back out there. I'm sure you cannot wait to get back out there. Thanks for taking the time.
Oh yeah, appreciate you.
All right, thanks to Kenny Clark for joining the show. Awesome to talk to him and get his insight. I thought the last bit there was hilarious about what it was like in the locker room. Is that the whole story with every player? Were there maybe some things going on behind it? Yeah, maybe. Who cares? He was there, and he let us know it was pretty normal. It was pretty normal. So just one of those funny things that I'm glad we were able to get some player insight on. We'll be back next week. It is draft week. Next week, draft week. Follow me on Twitter, Peter_Bukowski. Follow the podcast on Twitter @LockedOnPackers. Subscribe on YouTube. We're going to be going live after the first round and after the second and third rounds. Thursday night, Friday night, we will be going live. I will be on TV live for all of that time, so you can get my live in real-time reaction on the Locked On NFL Draft podcast feed on YouTube. We'll have our live show there, but then I will be going live after round 1 and then on Friday night after rounds 2 and 3 to give you everything that you could possibly want about these prospects. I've been grinding the tape, so it's going to be a fun time. And anytime you want to hit us up on the Locked On Packers fan hotline, if the Packers take someone and you go, wait, who is that? hit me up, 920-341-3775 to stay locked on Packers.